What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Happier, Healthier Arkansas podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dr. Cam Daniels. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Grant Dennis. Today on this episode, we're going to kind of go through a couple of different things happening actually within the state of Arkansas, and you're going to get our commentary on it. But before we get started, we see that Grant's wearing a Razorback shirt. Big game this weekend, facing Arkansas State here in Little Rock. Predictions?
Well, I mean, this is a big one. I actually think this might be the most important game on the schedule for the Arkansas Razorbacks this year, because this is the first time that Arkansas has ever played an in-state rival. Arkansas State's an in-state rival. So there is nothing more that Arkansas State would love to do than to come in and knock out the flagship university in Little Rock.
For sure.
So listen, you lose this game, no other games on the schedule matter this year. That's why it's the biggest game on the schedule. If you lose to Arkansas State in Little Rock, there's going to be nobody in the stands in Fayetteville.
You were on the way in here. You actually think this could be the last time at War Memorial?
This is definitely the last time at War Memorial.
Why?
I think. Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, let's just call it what War Memorial's been around since like 1940 or 50 or something. It's an old stadium. It only holds 40 or 50,000. It's a neutral site game for Arkansas. They would much rather be in Fayetteville, bigger stadium, sleep in your own bed. It's your home locker room. Like it is in some ways an away game. Now, this game became really popular in the days of Houston Nutt, because Houston Nutt's from Little Rock. He was a Little Rock guy. He went to Little Rock Central. So he was the head coach of the Hogs. When they played in Little Rock, and they always played, and by the way, back then they played teams like LSU, or it used to be always LSU that they would play.
Why they stopped that?
In fact, I was at the game. They call this the Miracle on Markham.
Okay.
It's like Matt Jones. Okay. They play LSU.
Right.
They're DeCorey Birmingham. Matt Jones threw a ball. Miracle. They call it the Miracle on Markham game. He threw it in the back corner of I believe it was the west end zone or the south end zone. I just remember I was in that end zone at the very top and looking down. And I'm here to tell you, Cameron, when he caught that ball, that was the loudest stadium I've ever heard in my entire life. I mean, it literally was shaking. I was with one of my buddies and his dad jumped like 3 rows down. Like it was one of those where when he caught it, the place erupted. And it was, like I said, I mean, it was against LSU. It was a huge game. I was also at the game though, where Darren McFadden ran a touchdown 80 yards right down the middle of the field. And that was the second loudest I've ever heard it. And then the next play, we kicked it off, and Trenton Holiday ran the kickoff back, and the whole place went silent. And it was when Nick Saban was coaching LSU. So I've seen several games in War Memorial. I grew up going to War Memorial Stadium, watching games at War Memorial Stadium. Back then, it was always towards the end of the year, so it was always super cold. Like it was freezing cold. It was rainy. It was just, I remember multiple times walking up, and it was rainy, and it was cold. It was packed with tailgaters. Everybody always tailgates on the old golf course. It used to be a golf course. Now it's just a big tailgate, basically used for nothing, except for tailgates. But I think it's going to be the last one, just because it's old, it's outdated. Like you got to wait 20 minutes to go to the bathroom, an hour to get a hot dog.
The problem for me though is, I'm not from Arkansas. My first time here, you and I went to a game, so I'm kind of tied to that place, man. Yeah.
It's a cool place, man. There's a lot of history. A lot of great games have been played there, but I just think that it's a travel game. They got to travel 2.5 hours to get there, stay in a hotel. I view it kind of the same as when they play in Jerry World at Dallas Cowboy Stadium. It's a neutral site game. Yes, it's a big, huge, venue, lots of fans, lots of history with A&M, but they were ready to get out of Cowboy Stadium. That's why they're playing A&M at home this year. And I just think that the university is going to bring that game back to Fayetteville. I don't think there's going to be a Little Rock game anymore. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I kind of like the Little Rock game. Like I said, I grew up going to them. But I'll say this. Arkansas State coming into town, they did just lose their best running back for the season, which is tough. But they're going to come out full blows, holding nothing back, full playbook. They're going full send to beat the Razorbacks this weekend. The Razorbacks, A-State has nothing to lose. The Razorbacks have everything to lose.
Right.
You lose that game, like I just said, none of the games on the rest of the season matter. I mean, Notre Dame became negligible. Nobody's going to be there for any other game if they lose to A-State. So I think they're going to beat A-State. But here's my prediction. I'm going to go ahead and predict that Arkansas wins the football game, but I think it's going to be a close game.
Close.
I think it's going to be. And this is what's funny. So we're filming this actually the day before.
Right.
So we have no idea.
Yeah, we generally.
Friday, August or September 5th.
10,
Games
14.
tomorrow.
Yep.
So we're making predictions before it happens, right? So my prediction, I'm going to say it's going to be 35-28 in a close game, late score, or a late hold by the defense. But I think it's going to be closer than people think.
Why?
I just think Arkansas State's coming in for blood, man. They've been waiting for this game for a long time.
Probably the most people that's ever been at one of their games.
Little Rock's closer to Jonesboro.
Right.
There's a lot of A-State grads who live in Little Rock. There's going to be a lot of A-State fans. I just think the Razorbacks are going to come in with a little bit they got quite a bit to lose here. There's a lot of pressure, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
They're going to come into Little Rock a lot like the Razorbacks come into Omaha, the baseball team. When they go into Omaha, there's just pressure. You can just feel it. And then that's what happens. But I think they're going to come into Little Rock with a little bit of pressure. I think that they're going to have a lot on the line there. It's a weird field too. The turf's kind of older, and it actually has like a bowl kind of like, or like, like it's just I don't know. We just never, ever since the Brett Bielema era, we lost to ULM when we had Brett Bielema there. We've had we lost to Toledo one year when Brett Bielema, I think it was Toledo or ULM, one of the two. I think it was Toledo. Yeah, it was Toledo when they had Cream Hunt. They came into Little Rock and beat us. And I remember people were like, that was Brett Bielema, the start to his kind of downfall. It was at Little Rock, but he always voiced he didn't like Little Rock. I don't think Pittman likes Little Rock. And you can kind of tell. He even in his press conference this week was like, I don't want to play this game.
It's one of those things, like, obviously, the players in Pittman, they're ready to just, let's not call this a home game.
Absolutely. It's not. He's like, it's not a home game. He's like, especially when you play A-State.
Right.
You may have more A-State fans than Hog fans, actually. I mean, I don't know, but it'll be close because there's a lot of A-State people who live in Little Rock. So, I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting outcome. What's your prediction?
Honestly, I don't watch football like that.
Which means your prediction is probably going to be better than mine.
Right. So my prediction, if I were to put money on it, just kind of knowing what I know, which is not very much, especially regarding football, but...
You're going to pick A-State?
No. I can't. No, I can't do that. I'm gonna pick the Razorbacks, but I'm gonna say you're saying it's gonna be close.
35-27.
35-27. I'm gonna say it's gonna be even closer. They're gonna win by a field goal.
Oh wow.
Yep. They're gonna win by a late field goal.
Wow.
Yep. And my reasoning for this, I'm a Lions fan.
That's tough too.
Yeah, that is tough. That's really tough, and that's already ingrained in my head. You lose by a field goal, or you win by a field goal. So I'm just gonna convert my thinking from the Lions over into Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see.
I kind of want to know what Kelly's prediction is.
Yeah, I'm interested.
I think we'll win by 2 touchdowns.
Oh,
two touchdowns. Kelly says 2 touchdowns. Like high end scoring or low end scoring?
I think they're going to score, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop us. I think it'll probably be a higher scoring.
Okay.
I think of the over-under, I would put like 60 plus.
Okay, nice. Okay, 60 plus over under. So he's saying something around like 42-21, something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I mean
that's people leaving by about start of the fourth quarter. Yep.
Well, it's going to be either way. It's going to be a fun atmosphere.
For sure.
But again, it's historical. First time Arkansas State ever played. It's potentially the last game in War Memorial Stadium. It's worth discussing on our podcast because of that reason. Because it's happy or healthy Arkansas. And here's what I'm hoping is that people leave happier. They're certainly not going to leave healthier.
No, liver's going to be.
That's for sure not going to happen.
Yeah, liver's in detox.
I mean, how many? If we were to take how many alcoholic beverages do you think are consumed in or around the premises of War Memorial Stadium on that day?
I mean,
are we talking thousands? Or are we talking like hundreds of thousands?
I'd say maybe tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands?
Yeah. I mean, just in I think I've been to the tailgate twice.
Yeah.
And just from my observation, there's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you think about it, like Joe sitting at his tailgate is going to drink at least 10 beers.
Right.
And then there's probably at least 5 of Joe at his tailgate, which makes 50. And then there's probably at least 100 tailgating sites.
What time's the game?
Game's at 4. 4 Central, which means they're on the sauce at 11 a.m. at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And so and also as far as being happier and healthier, A, get a designated driver or an Uber. B, get home safe. Everyone, just get home safe.
Yeah, I was having this talk with a guy actually the other day who was trying to tell me that there was benefits to drinking red wine, and he asked me if that was true, and I was like, so it is true, but not true. There's a whole lot of research out there, but one thing we do know for sure, and this is a tough thing, is mask off moment. Mask off. There is absolutely zero physiological benefit to alcohol.
You know, what's interesting about all the studies that actually show that red wine is beneficial to like the heart and there's like the chemical compound inside of red wine. All of those studies are comparing not someone that drinks, but someone that drinks regularly. So comparing what they drink,
right,
which is not red wine, to those who drink red wine.
So I normally take 10 shots of vodka, but tonight I'll drink
red wine.
Yeah.
Yes, that has great heart benefits. Of course, naturally.
Yeah,
but there's no research to my knowledge that's shown of someone who there's no research to my knowledge that's shown where they're comparing people who drink red wine or people who don't drink alcohol or little to no alcohol, and then you start drinking red wine.
Yeah.
It's more for the people who moderate to like excessive drinking, transitioning into red wine has greater benefits.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, that's a weird one.
Next up, what we're going to talk about today, we've always told ourselves, mask off. And so one of the things that we're actually doing is we're going to be talking about different things that are actually happening in the state of Arkansas as it relates to making people happier and healthier. One of the things, and one of the articles I'm gonna pull up here, it's by Teen Vogue. Okay, mask off. Teen Vogue. Young people are fighting climate anxiety in Arkansas with parties and free.
No, we're not cutting it out. Stays in.
Young people are fighting climate anxiety in Arkansas with parties and free menstrual cups.
Wait, what?
and free menstrual cups.
Menstrual cups.
Menstrual cups.
What is a menstrual cup?
Dude.
No, I'm serious.
Okay. Menstrual cup is
ChatGPT that. What is a menstrual cup?
A menstrual cup is when women are on their periods. Yes. Like a menstrual cup.
It's okay. That's really weird.
It's not weird because
Well, no, it's weird the way that it sounds versus what it actually is.
And when you think about this, what's interesting about it is Megan. Okay,
yeah. That's your wife.
Yep,
that's
Megan's
Cam's
my
wife, by the way.
Megan legit actually has done a lot of research into this versus like tampons and versus like menstrual cups. So her personally, she doesn't use them. Obviously, I have no idea. But the big thing that we want to talk about with it is that this whole concept of climate anxiety. There's a lot of stuff that could be said about this, and obviously it's in play because it makes people. Obviously, people are struggling with climate change and stuff that's happening regarding it. But what's your take on that?
First, you kind of threw me off with menstruation.
Well, that's what I know.
Now I'm trying to like unpack that a little bit first before I even get. So
I had not.
Well, climate anxiety. I'm assuming when you look at that, the fact that it was done by Teen Vogue first and foremost is okay.
Right.
Climate anxiety, I'm assuming means anxiety surrounding the fact that the climate change topic.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm anxious around the fact that it's getting hotter during the summers and cooler during the winters.
Right.
Extreme temperature changes. And there's anxiety around that. My take on that is this. I personally in my life choose to only spend mental energy on things I can control.
Okay.
I don't actually kind of fall into the premise of thinking I can control the climate much. Me. Personally.
You as one person.
Me as one person. Now, the collective, sure. Do I think we should kind of take like measures to eliminate, carbon emissions, things that we are very much aware harm the environment and the ozone and all that stuff, greenhouse gas effect, all that stuff. Look, I was a biology major, mask off.
Yep.
Biology major, chemistry minor. So I have the right to talk about this. And I also was an anatomy minor, which has nothing to do with climate. However, chemistry and biology do. One of the things we learned about in biology was the ozone effect, the greenhouse gas effect, how that works. But when it comes to anxiety is an elevated heart rate and a sympathetic response to some sort of stimuli. That's not there. That's the definition of anxiety.
Right.
As my heart rate elevates and I become anxious about something that there is no, so physiologically, if I turned around and there was a bear sitting here right now, my heart rate's going to elevate, my pupils are going to dilate, my breathing is going to increase, and I'm probably going to have a bowel movement.
Yeah.
That's a physiological response to a scary thing. The problem with anxiety is that's an event that occurs when there's no bear here.
Yeah. You're assuming that something's happening.
Anxious.
You're anxious that something's happening despite the fact that it's not there.
Like I have an event coming up, Crucible 55 in 4 weeks. I'm anxious thinking about it.
Right.
Because I know it's coming, but it's not here, but I have an anxiousness towards it. That's anxiety. Problem is when we get flipped into that all the time. So back to my response, climate anxiety, and like my response to that would be, I think it's probably real.
Right.
I definitely think there's people probably out there struggling with that because it is more important to other people than others, you know? I also do remember though, Al Gore saying back in the early 2000s that we'd already be underwater and we're not. So I don't know who to believe really when it comes to.
It's kind of one of those things where it changes. Like there's a lot of different changes with it. When I think about that, I've talked with Chris about this. We both have talked with Chris about this, Dr. Chris.
Who's a very big, Chris probably has climate anxiety.
Probably. Yeah.
Shout out Chris.
He legit, yeah. Shout out
We're here
Chris
for you.
Brown. We're here for you, brother. Yeah, we're here for you. Yeah, big climate
We're going to find out if he listens or not.
Right. Like, listen to your own podcast?
He's going to be like, you guys are talking about me.
Here's my take around climate change, climate anxiety particularly. We see it within the clinic where people are, they have anxiety around a particular condition or a particular topic or a particular something else coming up other than what they're facing. They have anxiety of this. Will the adjustment make it worse? Will it make it better? They have anxiety about starting care because we're not really, versus me selling you something and like you get it tangibly. We're selling them on the quote unquote, selling them on the hope that, hey, at the end of your care plan, you're going to be able to look up and things are going to be different. So I understand that the anxiety part of the climate anxiety is probably very, very true and what people are genuinely experiencing from it. What I would also like to say, when you're looking at climate change in particular, I think there's sort of a middle ground, right? I really do. I think there's sort of a middle ground, not so much where like my entire focus and energy has to be on, trying to, fix the planet, and so much so on the other side saying like this. There's just no reality to it. For me, when I'm looking at people who are suffering from climate anxiety, they're, like you said, they're actually nervous about the thing, which is a climate change, the fact that things are changing. Me personally, I do think we have a responsibility. God has given us, right? We see this in Genesis. Like God has given us everything that He's given us this planet, and I think that we should take care of this planet. But our entire focus should not be this planet. And I think that's really where people get, misconstrued. You look at Teen Vogue, right? Teen Vogue they're probably going to be on the biggest side of like, hey, like, people are taking massive action by using menstrual cups and by using, non-paper cups. Well, are those same people taking, and I don't know, but are those same people taking genuine action? Those are two great steps. What kind of cars we driving? What kind of planes we drive? What kind of planes we flying? There's other stuff to be able to look into that. But again, on the other end, let's not pretend like we don't have an Earth to be able to look after, right? To steward after.
Well, right. My also last thing on this would be the worst thing you could do to overcome climate anxiety is party.
Right.
Because now we're having parties to create a false dopamine effect, which we know further increases anxiety.
Right.
And probably parties including things that are also false dopamine hits.
Yeah. I mean, let's see what this says.
I mean, let's mask off a moment for a minute. Like dopamine. I think dopamine is very much prevalent in the body as what's known as the euphoric hormone. So we're always looking in life as humans for these dopamine hits. So if you have anxiety, dopamine's low, which means you have to have a dopamine offset of some kind. So you're going to party to offset that sense of anxiousness to create dopamine to lower the anxiousness.
Right.
Physiologically, however, though, within the body, what that actually does is make your anxiety worse.
Right. And what's interesting is the whole aspect of parties. We just talked about how many beers are consumed at, so are we pouring the aluminum can? Are we pouring an aluminum can into into a reusable cup.
Right. And are we recycling that aluminum?
Yeah, and are we recycling
Probably
the
not.
aluminum?
I'd be willing to bet that if I were to walk out on Sunday morning onto that golf course, there's going to be at least 1,000 squish smash Coors Light cans on the ground from those same people.
Yeah,
that's tough. It's a tough take.
It is a tough take. You know, that's a tough take. If I had a sound bar to go wah, 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 wah. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next article. This article really just got me because, you know, when I looked up the article, all I saw was young people are fighting climate anxiety in Arkansas. And then I happened to open up the first time, like the entire article, the first time on camera, and it just completely threw me off when I saw with parties and free menstrual cups. Completely threw me off. Next up. Ooh. I have a lot to say about this one. Maternal and postpartum health advances here in Arkansas. Healthy Moms and Healthy Babies Act in 2025. Arkansas passed
What's the article?
This is Axios.
Axios.
Yep, Axios. Axios. Arkansas passed this major legislation in early 2025 to tackle its high maternal and infant mortality rates. It invests approximately $45 million annually into Medicaid reforms, such as covering doulas, remote health monitoring, and increasing reimbursements for delivery-related care to ensure better prenatal and postnatal support for moms. My wife and I, personally, we have home births. You know this. The audience obviously doesn't. We have home births here in the state of Arkansas. Both of our children and my third pregnancy, or sorry, not mine, Megan's third pregnancy. God bless you, Megan. Oh my goodness, she's a warrior. With our third child, she will also be born at home. So we have a midwife. Midwife comes to our house when labor starts. Gets everything ready. We get the pool. Yes, you get everything ready, such as like, the water bath and setting everything up. But what is very interesting is, this is a state of a very high infant mortality rate. Very high infant mortality rate. So the fact that we have
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Very high. And mainly it stems around, if you're asking me, this is a personal take, but it stems around education, right? Because what happens is, women will get pregnant, and when women get pregnant, they don't know they don't know what to look out for. They don't know what is, like Megan's, we went to church today, and Megan's heart rate was a little bit higher than normal, but she doesn't know this. If it's like, hey, some people don't know this, like if your heart rate's normal, then or if your heart rate is higher than normal, you should probably like rest, and you should probably take some time off. So it's one of those things that, I think it's because of a lack of education. And so when we have education around pregnancy, when we have education around not just the mom, but if there are two people involved, the mom and the dad, if you're looking at the aspects of it, educating both of them, but really educating the mother. And so this act, I've known about this act for a while. I personally am behind it. I do enjoy it. I love the fact that we're starting to increase the education and services here in the state of Arkansas, especially regarding moms and families. But I do think it's because of a lack of education. It's a lack of education around that topic, and the fact that it's supporting doulas as well. Now here's a caveat. I don't believe that this is supporting home births, right? Because doulas can still go to a hospital, and a doula is responsible for supporting the mother, separate from the doctors.
So what's the difference between a doula and a midwife?
Education. Yes. So education is the difference between a doula and a midwife.
So the education they've received.
The education they receive. Yeah. A doula is more of a certification. A midwife, you have to go through like genuine schooling, right? To be able to have a midwife license, a license.
You would think
midwife.
It's the opposite by what they're called, though.
I know. For sure. Yes. Doulas are more of like support. Midwives they're highly educated. Not that doulas don't have to be, not that doulas aren't, but there is certain certifications to get to become a doula. And there is a lot of schooling and education to be a midwife.
Mask off moment.
A mask off moment.
Mask off moment here. What was it like the first time you were in your house during that process, watching your wife give birth at your house?
Dude.
Mask off. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like, 1 being I was like not scared whatsoever. 10 being I had the most frightening experience in my life.
Ooh, I would say it's in the middle.
It's in the middle.
It's in the middle. Keep in mind, so the midwife you use, her name's Deb Phillips. She's a rock star. She's been doing this 42 years. 42 years.
She was doing it before hospitals.
Right. So what happened is, honestly, I was thrown off because what happened is she came in, she gets everything set up, and Megan's, she's in labor. She's, she's in labor. And Deb just sits, she comes in, preps everything, and then sits down on our couch and just pulls out her phone. And I was like...
Just ice in her veins.
Oh, yeah. I was like...
Fourth quarter. It's fourth quarter.
Yeah.
2 minutes left, 2-minute drill.
Yep.
And she's over there just...
I was like, Deb, should we be doing something? And I'll never forget what Deb said. Deb said she already knows what to do.
That's awesome.
Sure enough, brother, it progressed. And then sure enough, Megan, because again, she's been doing it 42 years. Megan started like giving certain birthing sounds, like it was a hoo to like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But Deb knows what to look out for.
I wish I could be a fly on the wall.
Dude, I was bugging out. And so what happened is she went, as soon as Megan started making like certain birthing sounds, Deb got up, she put her phone down, she stood up and she was like, okay. And so she checked her dilation and everything. Everything looked good. And then it was time to push. And I'll never forget. We were pushing. Megan was, and keep in mind, Soraya, my oldest, she was born at the foot of our bed. Sayla was born right in our living room. Okay. And I'll never forget Megan squeezing my hand, and then she relaxes while she was pushing. And then Deb was like, "Hey Cam, do you want to see the hair?" So I go over there and I saw Soraya's hair, and I was like, "Oh!" I was like, I hit Megan. I hit Megan. I was like, "Babe, this is happening." She's like, "I know it's happening."
Typical Cam response. It's happening.
I was like, yo.
Did it look like your hair, or did it look like it was just a head of hair?
It was just a head of hair. And Deb was like, yep, perfect. And then all of a sudden, boom. And
Deb caught, or you caught her?
Oh, see, here's the thing. I will never catch our children. I don't care if we have 3, because Megan's pregnant with a 3rd. I don't care if we have 10. Don't matter. I will not catch our children. I was a lineman in football. I was not a wide receiver. That's what I tell Deb. Yes, I was.
You drop it.
Oh,
you fumble the bag.
Yeah,
I'd
fumble the bag for sure. Yep. For Sayla, Deb was like, "Hey, so you seen it now?" And she's like, "Come on, Mr. Chiropractor, Mr. Natural."
Yeah, you were like, "No."
Yeah, I was like,
"I'm fumbling the handoff."
I was like, "Deb, that's why we pay you."
You were like, "I'm fumbling the handoff."
Yeah, I was like, "Deb, that's why we pay you." That's what I tell her. As Megan's in labor, I was like, "Deb, that's why we pay you. You're catching."
Like, I ain't toting the mail.
Yep.
No
So
chance.
no, I didn't catch. So Deb caught. Boom, gives her right to Megan, and then brother gives her to Megan. Megan had her for a
Cool
second.
moment, brother.
Yep, I cut the umbilical cord, and then I picked both of our children up, Soraya, and then Sayla when she was born, and I just took them, walked them around the house, and just started praying for them. And so the experience was scary, but it was also exciting at the same time. And I don't think it'll ever change.
I mean, now this will be round 3 for you. So now you're a well-seasoned veteran. You've seen everything that's going to happen,
and now I'm about to be outnumbered.
Yeah. Oh, you're definitely about to be outnumbered. Yeah. I mean, going back to the bill though, I mean, it sounds like something, $45 million. I mean, that can go a long way in a lot of areas, and obviously not. It's interesting for me hearing it on this side, because I don't obviously have that experience or have children or home births, or never even seen a home birth. I've known a lot of people who have had home births, and they all seem to kind of, so yeah, I mean, if it enhances and promotes people's, like you said, education, to make a decision on whether they want to, because I've also having taken care of a lot of people over the last 10, 11 years or so. A lot of people ask, like, what should I'm exploring both, having one in the hospital, having one at home. What are the advantages, disadvantages? And, I'll be the first to tell you when I don't know an answer to something, I say, I don't know. And that's been my answer for a lot of things. So maybe this will help bring education to people to help make those decisions.
There we go.
It's good stuff.
I think that's good for today.
I think we're good. I think we're good today. I think we've, 35-27, Arkansas on a late one. Fourth quarter score late. Cam says a field goal late. Kelly says 2-score blowout. Be interesting to see. It'll be fun. Maybe next time we'll report back on a future episode on what the outcome was and how wrong or right we were.
Right.
But here's what I'm here to tell you. If A-State somehow wins that game, we probably may not have the podcast anymore because there will be no more Happier, Healthy Arkansas. There will be unhappy, unhealthy Arkansas after that.
Yep.
So here's hoping that our podcast slips through the Razorbacks.
Let's do it. Until next time, see ya.